Iran has hit out at Donald Trump after the U.S. president, in an expletive-laden Truth Social post, threatened to attack its energy infrastructure. An Iranian source told IRGC-affiliated Tasnim news agency that Trump was trying to divert attention from what it called a historic defeat in Isfahan. Iran claimed to have downed several American aircraft in Isfahan, including Black Hawk helicopters and 2 military transport planes. According to the Tasnim agency report, the Iranian source warned Trump that the consequence of the war would probably reach the American territory. Iranian government source said, and I quote, "If Trump intensifies his madness by carrying out these threats, he will only make his defeat more glorious. And of course, he should know that in this case, in addition to burning all American interests in the region, the consequences of the war will probably reach American territory." The Iranian government source, however, said that he did not mean firing missiles on the United States, but warned Trump that he would experience severe turmoil from within the American territory.
Trump is an unstable, deeply delusional individual characterized by a complex web of contradictions. Iranian society typically doesn't pay much attention to what Trump says because they firmly believe he lacks personal, behavioral, and verbal stability. Consequently, we are constantly confronted with his contradictory positions and statements. It seems to me that Trump has truly transformed into a phenomenon, a figure so complex that neither the Iranians, nor even the Americans themselves, possess the capacity to fully comprehend or analyze his character. And regarding the discussion of the Strait, the Strait is indeed open for all nations of the world, but it remains firmly closed to Iran's enemies.
Earlier, Trump made expletive-filled threats against Iran and its infrastructure if it did not open the Strait of Hormuz by Tuesday, after American forces rescued a wounded aviator whose Iran-downed plane fell behind enemy lines. The Middle East is now on edge as the war of words between the United States and Iran spirals toward a dangerous breaking point. U.S. President Donald Trump on April 5 issued a stark warning, declaring that American forces could strike Iran's power plants and bridges as early as April 7 if Tehran doesn't reopen the partially blocked Strait of Hormuz. In a fiery social media post, Trump wrote, quote, "Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the f***ing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah." The post by Trump came a day after he issued a stern warning, giving Iran just 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global oil artery, or face what he called hell raining down. These ultimatums came as his earlier 10-day deadline was set to expire on April 6th. Soon after his post on Truth Social, Trump told Fox News that there's a good chance for agreement with Iran on April 6th. The strategic waterway, a lifeline for global oil supplies, remains effectively closed to the U.S., Israel, and their allies, sending shockwaves through energy markets worldwide. Iran, however, has refused to back down. In a direct response, Iranian military officials issued a chilling counter-warning, saying the, quote, gates of hell, unquote, would open for the United States and Israel if attacks continue. Senior Iranian commander Ali Abdullahi Ali-Abadi slammed Trump's remarks, calling them, quote, reckless, unquote, and a sign of desperation. Additionally, a billboard showing Iranian troops catching warships, fighter jets in a fishing net with a sentence reading, "The Strait of Hormuz remains closed," popped up at the Enqilab Square in Tehran on April 5. Tehran has also rejected proposals for a temporary ceasefire, demanding a permanent end to the war instead.
Our conditions for ending this war are absolutely clear. We do not accept a ceasefire. Instead, we are seeking a complete end to the conflict, not only in Iran, but throughout the entire region, and providing firm guarantees that these aggressions will not occur again, and furthermore, the payment of damages and reparations that must be made to the Iranian people due to the sheer scale of the losses and harm they have in any event inflicted upon us.
Earlier, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth claimed that talks with Iran are, quote, "very real," unquote, and gaining strength, while stressing that the U.S. will continue to negotiate with bombs.
The U.S. and Iran appear right now publicly to disagree about whether there are these negotiations ongoing. What impact does that have on military strategy? Does it have any bearing at all?
So on the talks, I can tell you, having been with Steve and Jared and the Vice President and Marco and many others yesterday, they are very real. They are ongoing. They're active, and I think gaining strength. And we appreciate that. As I said in my remarks, we would much prefer to get a deal. If Iran was willing to relinquish material they have and ambitions they have, open this, great. That's the goal. We don't want to have to do more militarily than we have to. But I didn't mean it flippantly when I said, in the meantime, we'll negotiate with bombs. Our job is to ensure that we compel Iran to realize that this new regime, this regime in charge, is in a better place if they make that deal. And so we'll continue. We're working hand in hand, but the primary effort is a deal. We want that deal to be accomplished if at all possible. If not, then we're prepared to continue.
Iran has hinted at blocking another global choke point with the help of its allies in the Middle East. The Speaker of Iran's parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, has issued a veiled threat. In a post on X, Ghalibaf questioned the vulnerability of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. He asked, "What share of global oil, LNG, wheat, rice, and fertilizer shipments passes through this route? And which countries and companies depend on it the most?" A statement widely seen as a strategic warning to global shipping and trade networks. While the Strait of Hormuz remains the world's most critical energy corridor, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait is also vital. The narrow waterway, bordered by Yemen, handles nearly 14% of global trade shipments. That includes around 5% of the world's oil supply. Analysts say the remarks suggest Tehran may be looking beyond Hormuz and considering other strategic pressure points in the global commerce network. Ghalibaf questioned the volume of crude oil, LNG, grains, and fertilizers that pass through the narrow waterway, a statement quickly picked up by policymakers and global markets as a calculated strategic signal. Around 6.2 million barrels of crude oil pass through this route every day, and nearly 12% of global trade moves across the Red Sea corridor, making it a critical artery for Europe-Asia trade and global supply chains. Its vulnerability has been a growing concern, especially since the Houthi movement entered the conflict in support of Iran. With tensions already high in the Gulf, this latest signal suggests the conflict could expand to yet another critical maritime lifeline.